Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. The season is almost here. And without further ado, I have my final record prediction for how your Seattle Seahawks will fare in 2023. We're going to break down every game and predict it game by piece on today's show. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Week 1, your Seattle Seahawks take on the Los Angeles Rams. That's a win for me. The Rams are coming in depleted as far as I'm concerned. This is a team that, doesn't have Jalen Ramsey. They don't have Bobby Wagner anymore. Matthew Stafford is getting older now and showing age. Cooper Kupp's even getting older. Heck, even Aaron Donald missed a lot of time last year. Seahawks are the better football team. I think they take care of business week 1 and beat the LA Rams. Week 2, you travel to Detroit, take on a very good Detroit Lions team. Lions have a very good offense with Jared Goff at quarterback, who Seahawks fans are very familiar with, and some of their other weapons. But Jamison Williams is going to be suspended the first 6 weeks of the season. He won't play in that game. The Lions do have question marks on their defense. I think the Seahawks can go on the road to Detroit and get a win in this one. Week 3, you take on Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. And this Panthers team is just not very good around Bryce Young there. I think Bryce Young's got a bright future, but they are starting from scratch there for that Carolina Panthers team. They got their work cut out for them. I think that the Seahawks can win this game pretty easily. There's no reason why this game should be close. The Seahawks are just a much better team on paper than the Carolina Panthers are. They should be able to do whatever they want and handle business against Carolina. Week 4, you take on the New York Football Giants. That game on Monday Night Football. Joe and Troy, the Hall of Famer, on the call for that one. And what an exciting game that we have here, as these two teams were very similar last year. The Seahawks got the best of the Giants, but the Giants won a playoff game as they took down the Minnesota Vikings. They went a little bit further in the playoffs than the Seahawks did. But I look at these two teams, and the thing that scares me about this matchup is that how well the Giants run the football with Saquon Barkley. And I have been very vocal about my concerns when it comes to the run defense for the Seattle Seahawks. That's the difference in this road game. That's where I see the first loss of the season getting handed to your Seahawks as they lose to the New York Football Giants on a Monday Night Football Week 4. You'll take a 3-1 start to the season, though. Nobody's complaining if you're starting 3-1. That's not a bad loss to the New York Football Giants, though. What will the Seahawks record be in 2023? Their final record for this season. I got mine that I'll get to in a moment, but want you guys to weigh in first. Chime in, tell me what your final record is for Seattle in 2023. Folks, we are talking about your Seattle Seahawks each and every day. And anytime news breaks out, we are bringing you a video as quick as we can here on the channel. Daily news and rumors, breaking news, live shows, watch parties, mailbags, and more. You need to join the NOTI Gang. Turn on your notifications. That way you're the first to find out when something happens with your Seattle Seahawks. And here's the deal. If you are a member of said NOTI Gang, or if you just joined the NOTI Gang, turn your notifications on, I want some love. I want to hear from you in the comment section. Type gang if you have your noties on for Seahawks Today and are staying alert to what's happening each and every day on the channel. Let me know. Type gaming in the comments section and show us, and we'll shout you out in a future edition of Seahawks Today. Week 5, you get a bye week. I'm not a fan of having a Week 5 bye week. I think it's a little bit too early, but that's out of your control. Week 6, you take on the Cincinnati Bengals, and this Cincinnati team is ultra tough. Obviously they have a great quarterback in Joe Burrow, but it's not just Joe Burrow. It's Jamar Chase. It's all the guys that they have there. Joe Mixon and company. This team, T. Higgins, they are just stacked offensively. They did lose some pieces on defense, but a road game in Cincinnati against arguably the best offense in the league, that one has me a little bit skeptical, to say the least. And going, East Coast road trip, I think that's a loss personally. The Bengals are a better football team than what the Seahawks are at this point in time. Week 7, you play maybe the worst team in the league, the Arizona Cardinals. The Seahawks swept the Cardinals last year. No reason why that shouldn't be the case again. Kyler Murray might be back at this point, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think the Seahawks should handle the Arizona Cardinals just fine. Week 8, you take on the Cleveland Browns, and Deshaun Watson is expected to be back, in playing at a high level for this Cleveland Browns team this season. But even with that said, I think the Browns have a lot of problems. I think that the Seahawks are better on both sides of the football. You look at with this Cleveland Browns team, they have question marks at their running back position. I like this Seattle Seahawks team to get things done Week 8, take down the Cleveland Browns, and get that win there. And so far, I mean, you only have 2 losses through 8 weeks. I think you're feeling pretty good if you're the Seahawks based on this start to the season. And you lose to 2 very good teams there in the Giants and the Cincinnati Bengals. Week 9, you square off with the Baltimore Ravens. It's on the road at Baltimore. Lamar Jackson coming in, and I would think he's probably healthy at this point because each season he only misses the last 5 games, at least the last 2 years anyway. But with that said, the Seahawks and Ravens both have high-powered offenses, but I think the Seahawks are a better all-around team than the Baltimore Ravens are, that they are more built to make a longer run and that they can outscore this Baltimore Ravens team. This might be a shootout, but I like the Seahawks offense more than I do the Ravens offense, but in a very, very close game. Week 10, taking on the Commies. I have this as a loss, and let me explain why before you come for my head on this. Every single year with the Seahawks and really every team in the NFL, there's a game that you lose that you are not supposed to. Okay? That's the nature of the beast. You lose to somebody you're not supposed to. And as I look through the schedule, Sam Howell showed some flashes in the preseason. Eric Bieniemy, I think, is an excellent offensive coordinator. They have a pretty good defense. I know that they could be a mess. Ron Rivera might even be fired by Week 10 as far as we know. That one, East Coast road trip, or actually you come back home, rather, after the East Coast road trip to Baltimore. That's where I could see a potential trap game and a loss for the Seattle Seahawks there. Week 11, you take on the Los Angeles Rams, this time in Los Angeles. I think the Seahawks are getting the season sweep of the Rams. I have a win against L.A. there. I think the Rams are going to be pretty banged up by that point in the season. We already know they're shorthanded kind of going into the year, but by that point, who knows who's even going to be suiting up a quarterback for the Rams. They might be against Stetson Bennett for all we know. Week 12, it is Thanksgiving night, taking on the San Francisco 49ers, feasting on some Niners. A critical game in the divisional race between these two teams. Last year, the Niners went 3-0 against Seattle, got the best of the Seahawks. And now, I think that the Seahawks, the next step, you have to at least split the series. I think being realistic, you should ask yourselves, can we split the season series with San Francisco? You have the better quarterback. They have the better defense. You need to get one. I think the short week at home, Thanksgiving night, that's the best opportunity to beat San Francisco. I like the Seahawks to win that game. And then you play another Thursday game the week following against the Dallas Cowboys on the road, Thursday Night Football. It's going to be on Amazon. And this Dallas Cowboys team, very similar to the Seattle Seahawks as far as when it comes to talent level for these two teams. And maybe it's Trey Lance that's starting at this point for all we know. But you look at the Dallas Cowboys, this is a team that when it gets to November, they're usually playing their best football. It's usually December and beyond when this team falls off. I think that a road game, Thursday night and all, after playing on Thanksgiving, back-to-back Thursday games, that's not a good setup as far as I'm concerned. Cowboys have a great defense. I'll go with a loss Week 13 on the road against the Dallas Cowboys there. Then the final stretch as the Seahawks try to get to the postseason. We'll break it down in one moment, but first, will the Seahawks win the NFC West? What do you think? Niners are going to be pretty good. Rams might be better than some people think, potentially. Cardinals are going to be awful. Will the Seahawks get it done and win the division? Chime in, tell us in the comments section, Y for yes, N for no. Can Seattle get it done and win the NFC West? Let me know in the comments section. Folks, with the season just around the corner, we have hats that we're selling that you're going to be seeing some of your favorite Seahawks players and coaches and personnel staff wear all season long on the sidelines. These are just some of the options that we're offering. The flat bill style, the throwback, the baseball cap, all of these are available at chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. And think about this. Not only are we offering these hats right now, but there's more in the sideline hat collection beyond just what you're seeing here. So go ahead and get one of these hats. You'll be styling. You'll be rocking with your hawk out, representing your favorite team. You can't go wrong with any of these hats as far as I'm concerned. Find the one that best suits you, that makes you look good. And you can get yours now at chatsports.com/Seahawks hats to get yours today. That's chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. Week 14 against the San Francisco 49ers. I think it's realistic that they split the series with San Francisco. That San Francisco wins the game at home Week 14. And I would imagine that one of those two games, with how the Seahawks stack up with their run defense, that the best running back in the National Football League, Christian McCaffrey, is going to have his day in one of those two games. I see that one being the case in Week 14. Week 15, you take on the defending NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. That game is in Seattle, so you do have that going for you. But this Philadelphia Eagles team, I think, is the best in the NFC heading into 2023. Jalen Hurts coming off a terrific campaign. The defense added players like Jalen Carter, and they still have a dynamic offense with A.J. Brown and company there. The Eagles are a lot to handle. I think the Eagles are just a bit too much for the Seattle Seahawks. The Eagles win Week 15. Week 16, a big wild card. What on earth do the Titans look like by Week 16? There's rumblings that, depending on how the first few weeks of the season goes for Tennessee, that they might be sellers of sorts at the deadline, kind of like a baseball situation. They might just sell the farm at the deadline if they're not in contention and move on from Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins and all those guys there. So with the uncertainty of the Titans, and I don't even think the Titans are going to be that great anyway, as is, even if those guys were there, I like a win on the road in Nashville Week 16 against Tennessee. Week 17, you take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, a rematch of Super Bowl 40. I think that the Seahawks get a quarterback sneak in to win this game. See what I did there? Steelers had a nice finish to last year. Mike Tomlin is a very good coach. I think that the Seahawks, this comes down to talent for me. I like the Seahawks roster more than I do the Steelers roster. You know you're going to get a tough game against Mike Tomlin, but Kenny Pickett, I'm not completely sold on just yet. The jury's still out on Kenny Pickett. As far as I'm concerned, Seahawks should win this one. And then Week 18, you take down the Arizona Cardinals again. And you finish out the regular season. Although there was some peaks and valleys in this season, you finish out with 3 straight wins to end 2023. And you head into the postseason with momentum as far as that goes. So I have the Seahawks with a total of 11 wins and 6 losses in 2023. It is tough. I mean, playing the Niners twice, playing teams like the Eagles and all that, but I think the Seahawks can have a fantastic season. They can surprise a lot of people, and they very well just might win this division. Who is the toughest opponent the Seahawks will face? Is it Philly? Is it San Francisco? Is it somebody else? Weigh in the comment section. Name them for me. Who's going to be the toughest challenge for the Seattle Seahawks in 2023? Turn on notifications. That way you stay up to date with your Seattle Seahawks. We have you covered each and every day. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.